What's up? Today we're going to go over some NFL rankings. We'll touch some MLB and get into some UFC. Let's get started.
Let's roll.
Okay, first, we're each going to do our NFC and then AFC top five rankings. I'm going to handle the NFC. You're going to do the AFC. So let's go ahead and start with you first. Let's do the AFC. I would say just start from
All right.
the number five spot.
Yeah, let's do it. Build a little suspense. And number five might be a shocker, might be a surprise, but I'm going with Chargers at number five. What they were able to do last year and who they were able to acquire in this offseason, and also getting Josh McDaniels as the offensive coordinator. I think that could be a very scary combo with Justin Herbert and the offensive weapons that they have.
Who did they beat out for that number five spot? Like, who are you debating right there?
Oh man, that's tough. I was back and forth between the Chargers, the Chiefs were the two options that I was looking into. Outside of that, there's kind of a drop off.
Okay. Sounds good. Who do you got at four?
Number four, I have Baltimore Ravens. I don't have them any higher just because of the last two seasons have been very disappointing, particularly last season. I know they were without Lamar Jackson for a good portion of the season, and they had to deal with the injury bug. But these good teams, these great teams, they have a lot of depth and they can beat you with that depth at the same time. So it'll be interesting to see how well their depth pieces perform when they're called upon. They did go get Hendrickson for that to solidify the defensive line, but ultimately, I'm not trusting the wide receiver core, and that defense is still shaky to me. So I have them at number four for that reason.
Yeah, and you've got to think there's going to be some growing pains, with the new coaching staff and all that. Typically, it takes a season or two for them to really catch their rhythm. So,
Yeah. Number three, I have the Buffalo Bills coming in at number three. I can't really rank them any higher than that just because they don't really deserve it. They have not won. Their stars have not showed up when it really mattered. When it was playoff time, yes, you can say, oh, well, it has to do with bad luck. And I'll agree with that. But man, it's just year in and year out. You got one of the best, if not the best quarterback in the league, and you still can't get him to the Super Bowl. But they have a lot of hype coming into this season. They did make some good moves that I liked. They re-signed McGovern for the center. They went and got some help in the receiver room with DJ Moore. I think he will be pretty productive, considering the fact that he'll probably come in as the number one. And that defense, they just need to work on their run defense. You stop the run, keep teams from gashing them on the ground.
yeah, I think it's like you said, top three is still a really good spot, but it's really hard to put them in that number one spot saying, like, hey, they're going to be the team to really pull it out when it's like every single season, it's kind of the same type of drama. They make it to the spot that they want to. They're a high seed, but at the end of the day, once you get past that first round and you get to high level, intense competition, just stuff like the ball just doesn't bounce their way, no matter which way you slice it. It's kind of similar to the Baltimore Ravens. They're gonna, these guys are gonna have a great season. They're gonna put themselves in a good spot to compete in the postseason. But ultimately, there's just those couple teams that they're really not going to make it further than that. When you have a quarterback as good as Josh Allen, there's always that chance that he's going to be able to put you over the top. But you saw him put his whole heart and soul out on the field these last two seasons, and it still wasn't able to get it done. So I do like some of those moves that you mentioned, but ultimately for me and the Buffalo Bills, I just got to see it to believe it.
You said it, Josh Allen pouring out his heart and soul for his team, and it just doesn't seem like it's ever enough. Another quarterback who I believe, if he does give us that heart and soul for his team and on the field, and his play portrays that, being CJ Stroud, we can make it to the Super Bowl. So coming in at number two, I have the Houston Texans. Earlier, I talked about the Ravens just not having the depth that I wanted on that defense. The Houston Texans are the complete other side of that spectrum. We have all the depth that you need on that defensive side. We have some of the best units in all of football on every level. Defensive line, edge, linebacker, cornerback, safety. We have the best depth in those areas. So our defense is the top. I would say they're number one unit in the league. EJ has leaned up some. He's been in the lab this whole offseason. He stayed quiet. He has not been on podcasts and all this other bull crap that he has been on the past. And I'm excited to see what he can do for us. And me, as well as every other Texans fan, is hopefully he can improve and be somewhat close to, if not better, than his rookie season. Our team is built for a championship. This is our championship window. The Texans coming in at number 2, it's pretty much a Super Bowl or bust this year. And it's all dependent upon CJ Stroud's shoulders.
Yeah, I think you said it perfectly. I loved the list until you got to this one. You're right about everything, man. The only concern for me is like, is CJ Stroud going to be able to do what he needs to do to get you over the top? I would like to think that what happened in the whole postseason, and really it seemed like the tail end of that season last year, like what he was putting out on the field is just a blip in his career. I'm hoping that's what it is, but it looked rough. Like literally there was people asking if he was guilty of tampering, like trying to throw the game. Like that's how bad it looked. So I know it looks really good as far as, like you said, we've seen CJ Stroud play really good football in the NFL, but man, it looked really bad at the end of that. I still cannot get that picture out of my head of the defender right in front of him and he's throwing the ball right at that defender's chest as he's running outside of the pocket. I hope I'm wrong, man, for your sake. But man, you're putting these guys in a really good position to break your heart. It's different with the Cowboys. I know they're going to break my heart. It's like an abusive ex, but you're still in the honeymoon phase. CJ Stroud's looking good. The defense is looking good. I'm just looking out for you. You know what I'm saying? I'm just looking out for you.
Appreciate it. But I'm young and dumb.
Who you got next?
That leaves me top seed in the AFC, number 1. I've got to go with the Broncos. Just what they were able to do last year. They pretty much came out of nowhere with Sean Payton and that team and that defense. Another top 2, top 3 unit. Their offense was pretty abysmal towards the end of the last season and into the playoffs. That didn't help with Bo Nix getting injured in that playoff game against the Bills. However, he's going to come back stronger than ever. They bolstered that receiving core and the receiving room with going to trade for Jalen Waddle. That is going to be a scary combo with Cortland Sutton. And the running backs that they have, they produced really well. I'm excited to see what they can do, but not too excited because I don't want them to stay in front of the Houston Texans. I believe the Houston Texans can and should get to the Super Bowl. I know I'm running on about my Texans, however. But Broncos, I think they're easily going to win that AFC West division. And I think just from what we've seen and what I believe is going to happen this coming season, just they're number 1 right now until they prove me otherwise.
That's definitely not someone I would have picked again. That is a really good top 5, but there was definitely some curveballs. I definitely thought the Patriots would be up in there. Just seeing what they did, what Drake May did, like, dude looked like top 3 QB, had an MVP season. But I guess we're going to find out here soon enough.
I'm not knocking on what Drake May was able to do and Mike Vrabel. It just seemed last year what kept them out of the top 5 for me was last year just felt like the perfect storm for them to succeed, and they ended up making it to the Super Bowl. It was just the perfect mix of bodies and mindsets coming into the second year with Mike Vrabel. Well, second. Shoot, I don't remember. But just what they were all able to do together. They were really rallying around each other towards the end of last year and into the playoffs. And sometimes when you don't have that top 5 team, that rallying with your teammates and playing for each other, sometimes that can outperform talent. And we saw that last year. So that's why I didn't put them in my top 5.
Yeah, and as a head coach, you could definitely preoccupied. You're finding out that you have a son you didn't know about, and I'm sure there's a bunch of stuff racing through his mind at this point. So I can understand why you leave him out of there.
We'll tell.
My top 5 in the NFC. I'll start from number 5, like you. This one was super tough. It was basically a 3-way tie for me. This is your opportunity to call me crazy here, but The Eagles, I was considering of putting them at 5, but just between all the drama that's been going on, they've been consistently competitive for the past couple of years. Ultimately, that window's going to close. AJ Brown, is he getting traded? Is he staying? Just a lot of back and forth. I know they made some really great moves in the draft as per usual. Ultimately, I just think there's a little too much going on there for them to be cohesive. I know they've got some really good pieces. They've got Jalen Hurts. They've still got Saquon Barkley. They've got an all-star cast of characters there. But ultimately, I think the drama, like something's got to give here. So I'm gonna go ahead and push him to the side. I was also considering the Packers. I'm just not a believer in Jordan Love. I've got to see more from him, in my opinion. Now we get into the main two here. Like I was really considering putting the Lions up there, but again, they've been competitive for like 3 or 4 seasons, and it's really hard to keep that up. We saw them kind of on the downhill slope this last season, which was different based on the last couple years. You lost one of your running backs. I'm tossing them to the side. They've got to make way. We're back. The Dallas Cowboys, number 5. Dak's healthy. He's dropped the baggage. He's single. He's ready to mingle. He's going to go out there, give a great performance. He's not going to break his leg or anything crazy, break his thumb, break his wrist. None of that's going to happen this season. It's going to be great. We've bolstered our defensive line. We've got Rashawn Gary. We've got Quinnen Williams. We've got Kenny Clark. Hopefully, we can see them make some other moves on the defensive side. I don't care if it is defensive line again. Get someone like a Josh Sweat, who is potentially on the trading block right now. Make some more moves defensively. Whatever you got to do. You've still got your good running back from last year. You got a young running back in Blue. So I'm really hoping things can get put together here this season. Obviously, I'm being optimistic, but they are at my number 5.
As soon as you said a four-way tie, I knew you were picking the Cowboys.
Surprise, surprise. Number 4,
Well,
I have. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Dak might not break any bones, but he might have broken a few hearts already. He might break more. He's an animal.
Heartbreak Kid, man. And then you saw him at the rodeo or whatever, chugging, having a blast. Anyways, number 4, I got Chicago Bears. Just what we were able to see from them last season. The team was just electric. The fan base was electric. The vibes were vibing. Ben Johnson, Caleb Williams. It's just looking like this team is just at the beginning. You know what I mean? They have a young core. The sky's the limit for this team. They're competitive. They're young. They're hungry. They've been losing for decades. It was the highlight of the last 20 years for them, probably this last season. So I think it's only up from here, to say the least. So that's my number 4.
Yeah, I'm at number 4 also. So, yeah, I'm totally right there with you. And like you said it, this is just the beginning for them. This past year, just a little sneak peek of what we could see for the next 10, 15 years. This Bears team is young, like you said, and they're just reminiscent of the Bills when Josh Allen got there and they started winning these playoff games, which they haven't done in decades. Or Rams when they went and traded for Matthew Stafford. They couldn't get anything going. They didn't do anything, so they relocated and they traded for Matthew Stafford. And they've been nothing but up since. So all these teams were young when this thing just started happening. So yeah, I agree with you. They're going to be dangerous.
At number 3, I've got these dirty bastards right here, the San Francisco 49ers. These guys, they're probably going to kick the Cowboys' ass again this year. But guess what? We're going to come right back. We're going to come back fighting. All right. They're just a perennial contender at this point. It doesn't matter if it's Brock Purdy, Mac Jones, mac and cheese at quarterback. It doesn't matter. They're going to get 10 wins. They're going to get 9 wins. They're going to be in the playoffs. And they're going to beat the Dallas Cowboys. So they're going to have a good season. They're at my number 3 until I see them fall apart. They have, I think, all the injuries in the world these last 2 seasons because they're practicing next to all these 4G towers and whatnot, and they're still contending. They've got one of the best head coaches in the league, one of the best offensive schemes in the league. So I just don't see them going anywhere when you still got high caliber players back there. Christian McCaffrey, George Kittle, and you could literally go on and on with this roster. So they're my number 3.
Yeah, at this point, they're inevitable, it feels like. And they're not only competing and winning against other teams, they're pretty much doing it against science as well, depending on how you, what perspective you want.
Number two, I'm gonna go with the Super Bowl defending champ Seattle Seahawks. They lost K9. They lost their star running back. I do think Sam Darnold is now established. He's definitely a top five QB. He's going to be able to drive the bus here. All they've really got to do is hold this thing together, and they're going to be in a pretty good spot for the postseason this upcoming season. They've had a really good young defense. They've still got almost all of those pieces from last year's Super Bowl win. So they're my number two, unless I see anything different. Their coach, McDonald, has obviously shown he's a top coach in the league as well. So I think these guys are going to be really good for quite a while.
Agree with you. That's another team that really rallied around each other, and they also have the talent to back that up. They lost their star running back, like you said, but their first pick in this draft, they went and got Jadarian Price. Might have overpaid for him a little bit with that first round draft selection. However, they felt like they had their guy and their immediate replacement for Kenneth Walker, and they went and got him. And they're still going to be dangerous, and there's going to be nobody wanting to play against them week in and week out.
Next, number one, surprise, surprise, another perennial contender. I'm going with the LA Rams. You've got the best QB in the league right now in Matthew Stafford at the helm. As long as Patrick Mahomes isn't on the field, this guy's next up. So you've got him, you got Puka Nakua. You've got really a loaded roster here. You've got Sean McVay, who's arguably, again, you know, what's the theme with all these top teams? They have amazing head coaches, and Sean McVay is arguably the best. Consistently has his teams competing, not just for a winning record, but for the Super Bowl. So I don't see these guys slowing down either. They just extended Matthew Stafford, which we'll talk about here shortly, but they are clear cut number one in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree with you. Actually, we had 4, 3, 2, and 1 all the same. So, hey, we're thinking the same, brother.
Who'd you have at
The
five?
Rams, I mean, 5, I had the Eagles. They were my option.
Trusted you. I trusted you, dog.
But like you
All right,
said, the Rams are just completely loaded. The Rams are just completely loaded, man. When you are able to go and get star talent in free agency and fill the only holes that you need, which were at cornerback, you can do whatever the hell you want in the draft. And that's what they did. They just straight up, their pick was a flex pick. They were like, you know what? We could trade back. We could get some draft capital. But we're feeling so good about ourselves. We're just going to sit here and draft Ty Simpson. That's a freaking flex.
well, next we're going to get into some NFL news. Those were our rankings. You got any opinions? Drop them down in the comments. There's a lot down there, so just give us some time. Give us a couple weeks to review all the comments, and then we'll get back to you. Rasheed Rice. He's on probation, fails a drug test, potentially for marijuana. What are your thoughts on this? Just got knee surgery last week, the week before, and is now in jail, working on his rehab program, potentially. I'm not sure. What are your thoughts?
And you talk about rock bottom, bro. I mean, this would be, he would be the perfect person for a comeback story because he is at rock bottom, just continuing to make poor decisions after poor decisions. And you hate that for anybody, and you hate that for Rashi because he's got so much talent and he's got all the potential in the world on one of the best teams in all of sports through the past decade. I'm hoping he can turn it around. Hopefully, these 30 days in jail will wake his ass up and make him realize that he's kind of throwing away what millions and millions and millions of kids and people in this country would just do about anything for. So I'm hoping he can turn it around. This guy, I don't know, man. I'm just, it's, as the Chiefs, you look at the Chiefs, they have a lot of patience. And normally you would think with teams of their winning pedigree, it's either our way or the highway, usually, because they don't need you. But they do need Rashi, and they have been very patient with him. And I'm more surprised of like their patience with him, kind of holding his hand at the same time through all this stuff. I don't know. But later, Andy Reid's patience is going to run out. In their Super Bowl window, it's going to run out. And if he's not going to be somebody that can help their organization, I think this might be the beginning of the end. But I hope not. Hopefully he turns it around.
Yeah, ultimately, I'm thinking he's got to turn it around after this, right? But who knows? If he gets back on the field with Patrick Mahomes, he's going to have a really productive career. So as long as he's in a position where he has a really great quarterback like that, it's going to look really good for him. So if this guy can just get on the field and get healthy, I don't want to say it's going to be easy for him to turn it around, but it's going to be like a fit right back into where he was before. So I'm thinking it's a pretty high chance he turns it around, but again, we'll just have to see with that. Next, we're going to talk a little bit about Derwin James, a five-time Pro Bowler, all rookie team. Defensively, he's now extended 3 years, 75.6 million. Again, is the highest paid safety in the NFL. What are your thoughts on that?
There's a chunk of change, but he's worth every penny. He is the leader of that defense at the safety position. Normally, you don't see that at the safety position. His mentality, knock your teeth out, great in coverage. He's a very smart defensive player, and he carries that team on his shoulders, especially that defensive side. So I'm trying to think of the other safeties. Kyle Hamilton, my very own Jalen Petrie with the Texans, but he's kind of in a hybrid position now with at nickel, more so nickel now. There's not too many that I can think of that are high end, top caliber players such as Derwin James. And I
Caleb
wasn't expecting
Downs,
this extension. Well, he's got to play in the NFL first, bro.
bro, you got to believe. We got
Hey,
to talk after this.
I love Caleb Downs. I love the guy. He's going to be great for that Cowboys defense. But Derwin James, keeping him there in LA, I think it's great for what they're trying to do. They're building off of last year, and I'm excited to see how much more oomph he's got after that big payday.
Well, yeah, we'll see. I just love his style of play. Dude's aggressive. He's a strong downhill playing safety. So I know he had a lot of injury trouble after his great rookie season. So it was good for him to really turn that around, get back in there, and get a nice extension like this. Next, we have Josh Jacobs. Allegedly, you know how things go. I do want to preface this. A lot of these recent situations, it seems like a money grab a lot of times, but at the same time, you got to treat these like they're serious. You can't ever go into these assuming that someone's lying or stuff because you definitely want to prevent situations where people are getting harmed and it's going unnoticed. At the same time, it is doing some serious harm when people make allegations like this and they're not true. So obviously, there's a lot more to come out on this, and we are by no means educated or giving our legal expertise or opinions on this. But really, just want to talk about it because it's NFL news. But Josh Jacobs allegedly strangling females out in the wild. What are your thoughts? I'll let you take this one.
Knee jerk reactions. What the hell, man? Ultimately, when you get arrested, there's some serious. I don't want to say proof. So there's another word that factual that I can't think of. Again, we're not legal experts, so when you get arrested, there's probably a good reason for it. And on the flip side of that, sometimes people take advantage of who you are and make accusations that end up not being true. But no matter however you slice it, this isn't a good situation for Josh Jacobs because of all the legal issues that come with it on and off the field. You don't know if he's going to be able to make it during training camp, let alone is he going to be banned during the season? How is that? It just affects the whole team and the whole organization. So this is a huge domino effect that can really change a lot of things on that team and this whole NFC. So hopefully, yeah, yeah, man. That's a touchy subject. I don't wanna damp my feet in that too much.
Yeah, I mean, I'm by no means a Packers fan, so I do think Josh Jacobs just needs to take all the time he needs really to sort through this and really work this stuff out. So if he just needs to take the season off, I can definitely understand that. Take some time, regroup, take all the time you need. Ideally, hey, you don't choke people. But again, is it true? We don't know, but I guess we'll find out.
Keep your hands to the chest.
Next, Yeah. Next, we have Matthew Stafford. We touched on it a little bit. 1 year extension, 55 million, worth up to 60 million. In my opinion, it's well deserved. I think we agree. If he's not best quarterback in the NFL, definitely last season he's 1B to Patrick Mahomes when he's on the field. So like anytime you have a QB like this, Josh Allen, Matthew Stafford, Patrick Mahomes, you always have a chance to be competitive and compete for a Super Bowl. So I think he's definitely deserving of that, especially what he's done in the league. Obviously, they're probably not factoring that into their payment process, but just what he's been able to do in the amount of time he's been in the league, and then his performance at the age he's at now, which I think he's at 38. So it's just insane what this guy's been able to do, and he's definitely deserving of it.
Yeah, I said the Rams' first round pick this year was a flex pick, and at the same time, it's a very puzzling pick because with this extension that they've given Matthew Stafford, he's there for another 2 years. Most of it, if not all of it, is going to be fully guaranteed. So they're assuming that he is going to be there for 2 more years, which makes drafting Ty Simpson even more puzzling because he wouldn't see the field for 3 more years in a perfect world if you're like a Rams fan, because in a perfect world, Matthew Stafford is on the field every week for the next 2 years. But you got Ty Simpson in the first round, so you got 5 years with him. That would leave you with the third year, starting the third year on his rookie deal, starting if that was the case. But ultimately, they believe in Matthew Stafford. Why wouldn't they with what he's been able to produce? He won the MVP this past year. You have no doubts with him. You might just have some injury concerns with his back, and he's getting up there in age. So father time could be a factor, and it probably is a factor. However, he's getting a $60 million extension. So if he continues to shine, it's Super Bowl or bust for them as well. So he's worth every penny, and I'm excited to see what he can do at age 39 or 38. Going 39, I don't know when his birthday is, but he's old, man. And he's just to see that guy wheel and deal to Puka Nakua another year, Devontae Adams, all those tight ends that they have in that tight end room, Kyron Williams. It's going to be fun to see what he can do with that team again.
Yep. Next up, we have Nico Collins getting a pay raise. You want to tell us some more about that?
This is another puzzling thing. It came out of nowhere. We didn't extend him. We didn't do anything else. We just gave him a pay raise out of the blue. Ended up giving him a $9 million pay raise this year, and in 2027, an $8 million pay raise. So he's getting 17 million more dollars in the next 2 years, just up and out of the blue. I have no problem with it. He deserves it. He's making 29 million, almost 30 million now this year. So he's barely in the top 10, top 5 paid receivers in this league. So we didn't break the bank. I don't know, I guess Nick Casario was feeling mighty generous yesterday, and he just ended up giving him a $9 million bonus. I love it when you have those franchise players who have done a lot for your organization and you got the money, you need to take care of them. It does a lot, not just for the player, but also for your organization, because if you can pay a player and do good for them, they're going to want to do the same thing for you. And he loves Houston. He loves the fan base. And so I think this is 3D, 4D, 5D chess, whatever the hell you call it, on Nick Casario's part, because he's always thinking ahead. And this could be just a move to help keep Nico Collins in Houston for more than the 2 years he has left on his deal. There's another angle that I could take and approach this with, and it is this money that we're giving Nico Collins. We're removing a lot of money that we have available. Does that mean that we will not keep CJ Stroud after this coming season? I don't know. That might open up the possibility. That might be a little hint, a little clue of what is to come revolving CJ Stroud. I don't know. It's just very puzzling to me. I'm all for it. I love it. It's an interesting move we didn't have to make, but we did make it. And there's a couple angles that you can approach that with.
Like it, man. I mean, I like your latter idea. Let's go ahead. Ditch CJ. Get him out of here. Let's get Davis Mills in there, man. Dude's a wheeler and dealer.
Whoa,
Dude's a
whoa.
baller. Let's get him back in there. And I think y'all really have a shot. But in all seriousness, the Texans are really making the right moves here, which is good to see from an organization, and they're treating their guys right. And ultimately, these guys are going to turn around and do the same thing, and that's the way they're looking forward to it. You're seeing stuff like that happen. We've seen it before in the NFL with Tom Brady taking pay cuts and stuff like that. You've got to thank CJ if he's planning to stay there long term. He's going to be willing to do something like that, seeing how the team is taking care of other players, and he knows he's going to be taken care of on the back end. You see it in the NBA now, where the New York Knicks have made it to the NBA Finals, and Jalen Brunson took a $135 million pay cut off his contract so that they could get two more All Stars on the roster. And look where they are. That's going to pay off tenfold for him on the back end of his career if he's going to be able to bring a championship to New York. So I think it's really smart. The Texans are teeing this up to be not just a win now window, but a consistently winning football program is what they're trying to build here. And I think they're modeling something that the organizations like the Rams, the Patriots, people that really tend to retain talent and be competitive every year. So it's good to see them kind of turning things around and try to be that type of organization.
Yeah, absolutely, man. It's that fine balance of short and long term goals for your organization.
All right. That's what we had for NFL. Isaac wanted to get into the Will Levis, Glizzy Gobbler stuff. He's always trying to touch those controversial situations. I'm like, hey, man, I don't know what's all going on there. We could just move on for it. Is that all right?
Yeah, we can talk about the Glizzinator another day.
All right. So we're gonna get into some MLB. I know you've been itching to get to this. There was an amazing game. Amazing. Astros Rangers. Man, Texas on Texas crime. Tell us what you saw, what you didn't see, maybe because you broke the TV halfway through the game. What were you thinking?
It's very hard to think when you're just succumbing to your anger. And that's pretty much where I was. It's just very frustrating. How do I even start, man? Astros against no other than the freaking Texas Rangers. Of all the teams that you would want or choose to give a no hitter to, the Astros should not be anywhere on that list. Nowhere near it. And yet here we are. We gave them a no hitter, and it's not even like the pitcher is that good. Amai's one of the worst pitchers in the league right now, and we made him look like a freaking all-star out there just because our offense sucks, our batting sucks, we can't see shit. I don't get it. I held out a lot of hope for this team, but now I'm just like burn it all down to the ground. The Rangers are ass, and that's all caps ass. I'm done with it. I'm over it. We need to sell. This July, we need to be sellers, not buyers. Man, oof. If Chris Young goes into this freaking free agency, this whatever the heck it's called, I'm getting frustrated. I can't even think straight. If he goes in saying, "Oh, we're gonna be buyers," I'm gonna flip my stuff, man. I'm gonna lose it. It is time to sell. Sell the shop. Corey Seager's got to go. Jock Peterson's got to go. Evan Carter's got to go. Jake Berger's got to go. Hell, who else? Feel like there's somebody else. You're lucky. I can't think of your name right now, but you need to go. It's just abysmal, man. Our defense, our defense sucks because we had to call up guys due to injuries and poor starter performance. And when you don't get much time in the majors, you're going to make those simple mistakes just because you haven't had all the reps that you needed and all the practice that you need in a live game. So that's understandable. But man, nothing else is. Our pitching is starting to suck because they're tired of carrying the offense all these games, and our offense is terrible. It's been terrible all season. Yes, we came back and won 10-7 against the Astros the next game. But those 10, you think about it, we're not going to score points for the next month. We scored all our points. Uh, what's the word? All our points. Can't think of the
In
word.
advance.
Yeah, in advance. So be ready for goose eggs for the next 3 weeks. It's abysmal, man. It's very saddening, depressing. Uh, I'm gonna start watching. I've got to start replaying the World Series run from 23 just to get back to being level, because it's sad.
Yeah, it's rough. I won't spend too much time on it. It's starting to sell. They've tried to tape back, stitch back together this championship team, and it's just not happening. You've got a really good young core. You need to focus on that rebuild. Obviously, as Rangers fans, we're used to that. Let's just go ahead and nip it in the bud, man. Let's just stop trying to patch this thing together. You've got a really good young core, and let's move forward with that. You've got a really good pitching staff. Let's try to retain what we can. You've got a couple good young guys, a couple vets. Let's get rid of these older guys. Get some new young life in here while we still got a lot of these great pitchers on contract, and let's see if we can compete. Not next year, maybe not the following, but then the next year after that, we can be in really good shape. So I think it's the best to do this now. But again, you never know, especially with me in MLB. Maybe it's not possible to turn a franchise around that fast, but yeah.
It can be. It's not impossible, and I believe with what we would trade away, we would get a lot of value back for those pieces. So that would just steamroll the whole process. So 3 years from now is definitely doable.
Good. You got anything else for us on MLB?
That's it, man. I'm trying not to touch that right now with the 10-foot pole, outside of talking about how frustrated I am.
All right. Well, we're gonna go ahead and cruise through UFC because not too much going on there. It's pretty quiet, so let's go ahead and roll into our triumphant moment. I'll go ahead and start it off first. My triumphant moment. We don't do a lot of boxing here. There was no UFC. Not a lot going on with MLB or NFC. Obviously, MLB, there's not a lot to cheer about as far as Texas MLB for the Rangers. So I'm gonna go with the biggest fight of the year, potentially in boxing, which was Rico Verhoeven versus Alexander Usyk. Usyk, if you're not familiar, is the heavyweight champion of the world. Beat Tyson Fury last year. Rico Verhoeven is world kickboxing champion. So they're both the best in their sports, both heavyweights. Rico Verhoeven came into boxing to fight Usyk, who's the heavyweight champion, and just brought the fight to him and arguably won the fight. And it was a really controversial stoppage. He did not look hurt like it should have been. The fight stopped. He was winning the fight when it was stopped, and it was just super controversial, man. Everyone who watched that fight knows that Rico Verhoeven won that fight. So, triumphant moment for him. He's handling it like a champion, man. The champion that he is. I think everyone, like I said, who watched that knows he won. It's definitely a triumphant moment. The way he boxed him, the way he stayed in his face, stayed active. He just looked huge inside that ring. So definitely for me, that's my triumphant moment right there. Heavyweight boxing champion of the world, Rico Verhoeven.
We'll get him, Rico. Never heard of you before, but if my guy says you're a champion, you're a champion to me. All right, I'm gonna keep my triumphant moment super short, super sweet. I've got to go back up to Matthew Stafford. Him getting that big 1-year extension, that big payday, up to $60 million. He's worth every penny. If they win a Super Bowl this coming year, this deal is going to be even more sweeter. This guy's done wonders for not only the Lions organization when he was there, but he really upped up this Rams team coming up from the ashes, relocating back to Los Angeles from St. Louis, and he just changed the trajectory of this team and their hope for the next, it's when it started to now, 5-6 years, and it's, I'd say, another 4 years. So a decade back in LA with all those years, pretty much him being there outside of the first 2 or 3. You can't but love it. Stafford keeping him. He's one of the top 3, if not the top quarterback in the league, and he's there for another 2 years. So it's Super Bowl or bust for him. I'm excited for him because he's just such a great guy. He is the prime example of what you want on your team and who you want to lead your locker room. So, yeah, he's a great guy, tough guy, and I love that for him.
Yeah, I can't agree more. Like you said, the age that he's doing it, and in my opinion, he's just been getting better every single year. So you don't see that often. We talk about a lot appreciating greatness, and that's what you're seeing when he steps on the field. So completely agree.
All right, that's it for this week. We'll see y'all in the next one. Peace.
See ya.